Hope everyone's having a fantastic, what is it, Monday? So, hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. Really excited that you're here. So, again, just welcome. So, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to this fantastic Monday morning, at least for me. So, this is 9 a.m. Central. If you're interested in joining the conversation, if you watch this in the future, know that we're coming on live on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Central, and we're going to ramp up the content. So just know that this is not going to be the only times that you're going to catch us, but right now, if you're watching this in the future, just know that this is when we're coming on live. So this is a fantastic opportunity for you to ask more in-depth questions that I may not be able to get to in the future. So just making sure that all the notifications are going out. Alrighty, so as you're coming in, let me know where you're listening from. It's going to really help me out. So it's going to help out not only with the algorithm, because the more people comment, the more people like, the more people subscribe whenever we're live, the more notifications that go out. Patrick, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. So Patrick, over here, I have my, although it says Facebook user, I can see over here that your name is Patrick. So fantastic. So today we're going to talk about free real estate leads. We're going to talk about how to actually get those and not only just cover one strategy, we're going to cover multiple ones. So as you're coming in, let me know where you're listening from. We have somebody from Delaware. So Patrick from Delaware, appreciate you being on. As you're coming in, let me know where you're listening from, because that's really going to help me understand where the audience and the community that's being built is coming from. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started, because I don't like to delay really too much on the front end, because you came here for the content, so that's absolutely what I want to deliver. Today we're covering free strategies to generate real estate leads, because sometimes our budget just may not be there, or you just don't want to spend the money on advertising, whether you don't want to do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's something that you get to build your business how you want, especially with the social media age, especially in the online world, because you can get your name out to the masses and leverage your time in so many different ways. So with that being said, I actually want to start with the more traditional way of generating real estate leads, because I sometimes get accused of, well, you don't cover cold calling, you don't cover email marketing, you don't cover door knocking, you don't cover open houses. I understand that. The reason that I don't is because I am more in the online world, and I fully believe in that. However, to throw those folks that give me that comment and that feedback regularly, I'm going to go ahead and give you my preferred, I'm going to call it traditional real estate lead generation strategy, which happens to be a free one. And that is open houses. I prefer open houses over cold calling, over door knocking, over just about any other traditional way of generating real estate leads than any others, because open houses has a phenomenal closing rate. So you're going to get more people that are ready, willing, and able to showing up at your houses, because they're spending that Saturday, they're spending that Sunday coming to an open house. So there's a little bit more intentionality whenever they're coming through. So you get people that are a little bit closer to the decision point. So the pro side of that is they're absolutely free. So when you're hosting open houses, you get to meet so many different people. Now the downside to that, or at least how some people see it, is they're primarily buyers. Now, depending on how you feel about that, I have another video coming out on about buyers exclusively, and what I think about agents that frown down upon the buyer side of the equation. But that's another story. For another day. Open houses is a fantastic way for you to get real estate leads today, because you're able to leverage social media as well. So you're able to market your open house and any open houses that you have on social media. So you don't have to only hope for somebody that is driving by the community and the neighborhood that they want to live in to stop in your hood or stop in your open house. This way, with social media, you're able to promote and broadcast to the masses, and you don't have to hope that your open house is going to go well. There's certain steps that go into preparing your open house so you can actually host a full audience, a full house per se, with your open houses. And I have another video that's going to come out this week, actually. It's titled The Perfect Mega Open House. the perfect mega open house. That's a video that I'll be releasing this week, so be on the lookout for that, because again, I want to give you a bit more of the traditional strategies for that feedback that I've been getting. So again, the beauty of this particular strategy is that you're getting people that are closer to the decision point. They're not going to go on weekends to these open houses if there's not at least a hint of intentionality. Yes, you're going to have some looky-loos, but primarily you're going to have people that are ready, willing, and able to very, very closely, because that's where they start. They start their journey of open houses, and a lot of folks do open houses because they don't want to commit to a real estate agent. They don't want to commit to a real estate agent from the beginning. So rather than me go through the trouble of finding a real estate agent right now, I'm going to go to the houses whenever I want. I don't want to feel the pressure of a real estate agent sending me all these properties and saying, hey, let's go check out these homes that I'm sending you. They just don't want to feel that pressure. That's where they start. So you have a lot of folks that go through your open house that are not represented. But also, you have a lot of people that are coming through that open house that are actually not committed to a real estate agent. So that's different. Now, whenever you ask the couples or the persons, whoever's coming through your open house, if they're working with the real estate agent, if you're saying, are you working with a real estate agent? The common response is going to be yes. I have a cousin. I have an X, Y, and Z. I have somebody that I know. Well, everybody knows a real estate agent. I happen to know thousands, and you happen to know a lot as well. So with that being said, the better question to ask is, are you committed to a real estate agent? Then you're not violating anything, because again, do you know of a real estate agent? That's a question. Most people don't ask that. Now, are you working with the real estate agent? Most people will say yes to that, even though they're lying to you, because they don't want that commitment. But are you committed with the real estate agent? That one's a little bit harder. That one's a little bit harder for them to get out of, and that's a good way for you to start working with some clients. All right, so let's see. Denver, welcome, Denver. Oxnard, California, welcome. All right, I've had my laptop open playing videos of my other walkthroughs at open houses when we're able to have them. Awesome. Fantastic. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So yeah, so open houses, again, that's something I wanted to touch on today because, and I'll go ahead and put it here, but that's something I want to touch on today because I often get accused of, well, you're only doing the online world. Well, yes, because that's what the channel's about. This is the online lead generation strategies, but open houses, I do believe in those because those can be scalable and you can start working with clients immediately. All right, so Facebook posts. Facebook posts are a fantastic way for you to get real estate leads. And these Facebook posts are happening on your Facebook. So the strategy here is to friend as many people as possible that you know within your sphere. And then don't be shy about sending that friend request out to people that you have a conversation with, whether they signed in to your website, whether they called in on one of your homes, whatever the case may be. Don't be shy about sending that friend request because you're building a network. Right now, a lot of us do not have the 5,000 friend limit, or at least have reached that limit, if you will. So I know I haven't, and I know a lot of real estate agents have not done that as well. So whenever at Facebook, you have 5,000 friends as your limit, so you can friend as many people as you want, up to 5,000. And then whenever you hit that milestone, people get the chance to follow you. So it's not like they're going away, but it just means that within your friends list, that's capped out. So you want to friend as many people as you possibly can, and then start making what I call primer posts. So primer posts are a way to gain engagement from other people. So gain engagement from your friends, from your community, from acquaintances, from anybody that is part of your Facebook community. You're making these primer posts, and I'll give you an example of what one looks like in a couple of seconds, but you're making these primer posts to set you up for the close. So with these posts, these are designed to help you in the algorithm where Facebook sees a lot of activity whenever you post. So if you make posts that nobody engages with, well, Facebook sees that newsfeed of people's newsfeed. They see that as very valuable and coveted. And if you post and nobody is engaging with you, then that's a bit problematic because Facebook's going to say, well, Jaime's posts just are not worthy of sharing it to his friends. He may have 2,000, he may have 5,000, but whenever he posts, nobody seems to care. So these primer posts are designed to get you attention. So these primer posts are very non-threatening, if you will. So let's just say, I'll give you an example of a non-real estate primer post. If you're working on a new logo, as an example, or if you're looking at an option in your business, or anything that has to do with options, you make that option available to your friends. So if you're going through a new logo redesign, then you put, should I go with logo A or should I go with logo B? That's an example. You're going to have a lot of people go A, B, 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 A, B, B, whatever it happens to be. You're going to have a lot of people engaging in your content. Now I'll give you another example. And this is something that is more on the real estate side. So do you prefer kitchen A or kitchen B? So provide a more traditional kitchen over here and then provide a more modern looking kitchen over here. So that is also a primer post where people, it doesn't matter whether they have a home or don't have a home, they're going to comment and give you their opinion, because everybody has an opinion, right? So that's another example. But as we start going for the slam dunk, as we start going into getting an engagement with intentionality and start getting some leads, then we start getting a little bit more serious about our post. And I'll give you a fantastic post that you absolutely want to start doing. So an example would be, once you start doing these primer posts and have enough engagement, or even before you do, it really it won't affect you all that much. You just need to understand what primer posts are. Once you go to the posts that are a little bit more intentional, so your intentional posts, then you can start making something. You can start posting something to the effect of, what year did you purchase your first house? Something that simple. What year did you purchase your first house? You're going to be surprised at how many people comment, how many people from all walks of life comment. Now, one quick disclaimer, it's going to break your heart when your best friend from college says, I bought mine last year and you never knew about it. It's going to break your heart when that happens. But, if you can get past the emotions, you at least know, you're aware. Now, that best friend that you had in college that purchased that house without your knowledge to where you could at least gotten a referral fee, once that initial hurt goes away, just understand that they are now a homeowner, which you can start dripping on and re-engage, and you're working with the seller at this point. Simply because they didn't use you for the purchase doesn't mean that they're not going to use you for the resale, because we know the statistics that whenever somebody buys with an agent, people would use that agent again if that agent stayed engaged, but most of the time that doesn't happen. So that's why they have to go out and shop for another agent. So with these posts, what you're doing is you're calling out sellers. So I get the question, Jaime, how do I get sellers? Let's see over here. So I get the question of, Jaime, how do I get sellers? And this is exactly how you're doing it. This is exactly how you do it, because you already have a bunch of sellers in your database, in your sphere, and you just don't know about it. So this is a type of post that you can make. You can also make another indiscreet comment, and then I'll share about the strategy on how to actually convert these people that engage with you. Another subtle way to find out who your homeowners are which home insurance provider do you have? So I repeat that. Which home insurance provider do you have? Well, what that's telling you is quite a bit. When somebody comments Allstate, when somebody comments State Farm, when somebody comments Progressive, when somebody comments Hippo, whatever the home insurance happens to be, well, what do you find out at that point? That they're homeowners. That's exactly what you find out. So with that being said, you're able to then start dripping on them in a very tactical way. So going a little bit more into the strategy, let me know in the comment section, is this making sense? Have you ever made any comments like this? Let me make sure I don't miss anything over here. I've also found a comment here in Orlando wherein the parents of adult children are coming to the open houses. Those have been hard to convert to clients. We'll talk about that. So we have a lot of parents trying to get their children out. I'm looking for my kids. So I have had those situations where it's actually the parents that I form a relationship with, and then I have to sell the what do you call it? The children. So there you really have to work on forming that relationship with the parents, because they're the advisors, if you will. So as soon as you win over the parents, I don't necessarily find it hard, at least personally, to convert the children, if you will, as long as you have a strong rapport with the parents. But that's actually something that we could probably talk about here towards the end. With the Facebook post, as you make these posts that are designed to get you people that are that have a home, if you will, so seller leads, what you're doing there is acknowledging the comment. So a little heart goes a long way, a like goes a long way. Kind of like in this video, a like goes a long way. If you don't be shy about that like button over on Facebook and on YouTube. But once you acknowledge that comment, then you're going to comment on that comment. So just if you know this person, so if you even go to my newsfeed right now, you're going to see this in action at the moment, where I'm engaging and commenting, either acknowledging what they said or asking them a question or reminiscing on a way that I remember them. Just acknowledge the comment, but really the conversion happens in the DMs. Whenever somebody comments, yes, you're hitting that heart button, you're acknowledging the comment with the comment, but you're going straight to their DMs and thanking them for their engagement. Now, this is where we have to kind of start thinking about relationships a little bit more and stop thinking about that I need to get this person to have me put my yard sign in their yard immediately. You're not trying to sell them, you're just trying to open a line of communication, because we all went through real estate school at one point or another. Then we all started with the brokerage at one point or another. The very first thing that they told you is get your sphere of influence. And the very first thing that most people did was not start with their sphere of influence, because it was a bit awkward to have that 100 sphere of influence people that we needed to call. It felt very uncomfortable seeing their phone number right there and dialing it, because we didn't have to start talking about, hey, I know we haven't talked in the last 10 years, but I'm in real estate today. What are you up to? Well, that's how obvious is it going to be that you're calling them just to sell their house? How obvious is that? That's what kept me from doing that. Thought it was a bit, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was a bit hypocritical for me to do that, because I never once threw my business over to an insurance sales agent that I was friends with. I never once used the barber or the hair salon that my friends opened up. I never once did X, Y, and Z. So why would I expect the same over here? It's a bit hypocritical in my mind. But anyway, right before I go off the wall for a second, with these posts, you're starting to you open a door. It's a non-threatening door. You made a subtle post, a very a post that nobody's gonna think about twice on, and then you're having a conversation with them. Awesome. What did you like about the home buying experience? What did you hate about the home buying experience? You're not trying to qualify them. At this point, you're just trying to open a relationship. You're trying to open that dialogue, so where it doesn't become awkward when you're checking back on them in 2 months. If they've been in their home for 7 years and you're asking about their family, and then you find out that they're going to have a kid in the near future, and a lot of these things start to add up where, hey, this is a potential move up person. Then you start having those types of conversations. Then you start talking about the interest rate. Then you start talking about, yes, homes may appear like they're a little bit overpriced right now, but the way that the money is right now, pretty cheap. You get to cash out on a huge investment that you had and buy a home with a much less interest. So it's just a way for you to start thinking about the relationship, start thinking about how to convert these types of leads. So these are Facebook posts. These are what I call attraction posts that are designed to get people that are interested in some sort of whatever it is that you're posting, and then you start the back end, the work of doing the DMs and starting that relationship. So that's one way to do it. Now, the second thing in relation to Facebook is your Facebook groups. Facebook groups are still a fantastic way for you to get buyers and sellers. It's a fantastic way for you to get free real estate leads to work with. Now, you can participate in all of the Facebook groups that you absolutely want. You just need to be sure that you're not violating any rules, that you're not violating the terms, the rules that your Facebook group, whichever one you happen to join, whatever rules they make. So make sure that in these Facebook groups, you're respectful of their policies. And the Facebook groups that I'm referring to are neighborhood groups. There's a lot of neighborhood groups out there, garage groups. So these groups that have basically it's an online digital garage. That's something that you can participate in. real estate groups. So buying, selling, investing, those types of groups. There's so many different types of groups that you can start commenting on. Now, here's the very important strategy with these types of groups. The goal is not to advertise yourself as a real estate agent. That's just a promotion. You're not trying to do that, especially from the free side. I'll tell you about a paid strategy that nobody knows about, or not many people know about. From the organic side, you're going there to lead with value contribution. So what that looks like is reminding people that now is a great time to file their homestead exemption. It's a great time to do that. You're reminding people that they can protest their property taxes. You can even show people how to protest their property taxes. So you're going in there and leading with contribution, because that's another form of attraction marketing where people are going to comment, where people are going to be attracted to the person that is deemed the expert because they're sharing this information. So it doesn't have to be your platform, but it certainly does need to be your valuable input that attracts people. Now, once you start getting the hang of how this type of posting works in other Facebook groups, that some of them happen to be massive, some of them happen to have over 100,000 people that are part of that group. Now, not all 100,000 people are going to see it, but you only need a fraction of that to see it, and also you only need a fraction of that to engage, because they're going to come out, they're going to DM you at that point and ask you for clarifying questions. So once you get the hang of that, then you start your own group. You start your own group where you are strategic with the content that you're posting. So I'll give you one that I'm only sharing with my simply for being here, and I really appreciate you being here. So a huge like is going to go a long way, whether you're on Facebook or here on YouTube. I'm going to give you one that my students, they're just deploying now, and this is a brand new one. So you can create a Facebook group where you can title it something to the effect of Home Buyers Prep Group 2021. So you can title it however you want, but the Home Buyers Prep Group 2021 is basically a group of people that are wanting to prepare to buy a home in 2021. And you can do that for 2022. You can do that for 2023. In fact, you can actually use the same group and just retitle it. So once you get around July of this year, you just change the title to 2022. So what you're doing is you're creating a community of people, a community of home buyers that are preparing to buy the following year. Let that sink in. So this prep group is to be a real. Not real estate. This prep group is preparing to be a home buyer. So that is how you start getting these first-time home buyers. You can change it. The name's not material. The strategy is the important part. You can call it first-time homeowners group, whatever it happens to be, or first-time home buyers group. The strategy is what's important. You can just toy around with the name at that point. It's up to you. It's going to vary per market, but the strategy is what's important. So think about what you did, or what many of you have done. So you, as a real estate agent or as an upcoming real estate agent, you joined prep groups for real estate agents. So there's some prep groups out there that are huge. You've joined groups that are only for new real estate agents, and some of those groups are huge. There's a lot of people that are experienced at this point, but that are still part of the group, but they're still there. So you went through the same process over here. So why can't the clients that you're working with have the same benefit, where you provide value and provide a way for them to get prepared to home buy or to home sell? That's something that you can start leveraging Facebook groups, which are absolutely free, to your advantage. And in the very near future, I know we're only talking about free strategies, but in the very near future, Facebook groups, the specific Facebook groups that you want to grow, are going to be marketable, meaning you can advertise your groups specifically with Facebook ads. Now, again, that's more on the paid, and that's something that's going to happen down the road, but just understand that that's coming. And it's absolutely coming. It's a way for you to grow a massive audience, a massive group of home buyers, and a massive group of home sellers. But right now, you're posting and being organic with it. Now, I promised to you that I was going to show you the easy path to accessing all of these other groups with the Facebook groups that already have a community that you want. So let's just say somebody's already done a neighborhood community. So let's just a neighborhood group. Let's just say Fort Worth as an example. Somebody already has a massive Facebook group. Well, what you can do is you can flat out buy them. You can buy them. I understand that it's really against the terms of service from Facebook, so just be aware of that and make sure that you know what those policies are. But you can actually buy these Facebook groups because people will actually sell them to you. So if somebody has the audience that you want, just buy it. But again, just make sure that you understand the legalities on that, understand what's happening. I'm sharing with you what's happening in the place right now. Do I believe or don't believe in it? It's not my place. I'm just sharing you what's happening today. Now, second thing though, with the groups, if you don't have some of these are massive and people won't sell them to you, or just people won't sell them to you, period. But if somebody has the audience that you want, then you pay the person that owns the group, that is the administrator for the group, you pay them a certain amount of money for you to start posting in an advertising way. So it's like you renting their group as a marketing platform. It's no different than you buying a spot on the newspaper. It's no different than you buying a little 1/8 of a ad on a magazine. It's no different. That's something that you can do as well, and it's very effective. So that's something that we need to start thinking about, the different strategies, the different ways that you can start marketing your business, and this is one way. Now, the cost of this Facebook group posting is going to vary. It can cost $50 per post. It can cost $500 per post. That's something that you want to negotiate with the person that is the administrator for the group. Is this making sense? Let me know in the comment section if this is making sense. I know that we're getting a little bit very technical, and some of these you may have heard about before. Some of these are brand new to you, so I just want to make sure that I am not missing the mark. I'll address any questions that come through the chat. I just haven't seen any questions come through, so a huge like as you're coming in is going to go a long way. And also, any questions that come up with these strategies, I'm happy to share and elaborate on any more. All right, so the other strategy that I want to cover today is blogs. Blogs are, believe it or not, they're very effective. They're very effective. Now, if you've been following this channel for a little while, especially since December, so that literally is a little while. If you've been following this channel, I gave you my platforms that I'm going to focus on, and one of those platforms was the blogging. Blogging is something that is a fantastic way for you to gain organic business. Now, the reason that people stay away from blogging, especially today, is because they feel like it's saturated, which it's not if you use the strategies that were covered today. But two, it's more of a long-term investment. So we're a little bit hesitant to plant that seed today to enjoy the shade later on. And I'm here to tell you that I had the same mentality whenever I started YouTube. It was such a beating, and I mean a beating, to put out a video. At that point, it seemed like once every 2 weeks. Then it got to once every week. Then it got to whenever I could get them done. But now it's daily. Now that you're actually participating in the daily part, and this is the same thing with blogs. With blogs, it's not oversaturated if you know how to do it. So with blogs, it's very similar to YouTube in the sense of you need to do your research and understand which keywords you're ranking for, that you're trying to rank for. So whenever somebody goes into Google or to Yahoo or wherever, I mean, I'm going to use Google because it has 90% of the search traffic now. So whenever you go on Google, what are people searching for? So do that homework first so you know what to write about. So whenever the keywords that are meaningful to your business, you're searching for those keywords and seeing how competitive they are, and then you start working on a way to rank for them. So how to buy a home in Savannah, Georgia, that's something that is very valuable to you, right? So how can I sell my house in Crowley, Texas? Whatever it happens to be, whatever somebody is searching for, that's what you're writing about. That's where you're trying to rank for. It's something that I'm doing, like I mentioned to you earlier on, that's something I'm doing right now, and I am going all out with it. I'm going all out with it. Last week, we published 5, it was either 4 or 5 blogs. So we are absolutely just going on a tear with this because that is the next part of my business. So YouTube is going well. I would love to level up here as obviously, but I'm taking blog and adding that to whatever I'm doing to enhance that. And it's the same thing that you can do. The very important thing here is that you do your research and understand what people are searching for, but also you get super hyper local. And I mean super hyper local. I mean, get to the local level to where you're talking about neighborhoods. You're almost talking about a block. And the reason you're doing this is because it's going to be found much quicker and much easier by the community that matters, who it matters to. So let's just take a Californian. I know many of you Californians are coming here to Texas. So you can't find enough U-Hauls to get here. And that's okay. That's okay. We'll welcome you. We'll welcome you. So Californians coming in, let's just say they want to live in Dallas, Texas. Well, they're going to start with Dallas, Texas. Okay, all right. So it turns out that there's Plano. Turns out that there's Arlington. Turns out that there's Grapevine. Turns out that there's Garland. Turns out that there's Louisville. Turns out that there's Denton. Turns out that there's Euless. Turns out, whatever. You get the point. But once they find out, hey, this Mansfield place, it seems pretty close to the Metroplex. The houses seem to be recently priced. Let me go a little bit further. What's Mansfield like? Well, once you get to the Mansfield level, then you are very much in the running because Mansfield's not being written about, which, to give everybody a perspective, Mansfield is south, right in between Fort Worth and Dallas, and a little bit south. So kind of like a little triangle. So Mansfield is a fantastic place that actually my upcoming home that I'm going to buy is going to be in Mansfield, by the way, because I love that place. But so Mansfield is where people are going to start researching. But once they find Mansfield, they want to learn everything about Mansfield. They want to know what the new master plan community is going to be like, what's included in there. So you start writing about that. They want to know what Somerset looks like, which is also a new build community down in Mansfield. They want to learn everything about Somerset. Is there going to be a new school? Is there going to be dry cleaners? Is there going to be X, Y, and Z? Is there going to be restaurants? Everything you can cover in your blog much more extensively than Zillows and Trulias and Redfins, because they're not going to touch that. They're not going to touch that because for them, there's this volume. And they have the billions of dollars to back that up. I'm going to guess that you don't have that. And I'm not trying to talk down to you because I don't either. So with these blogs, you're able to get very tactical, very neighborhood, down to a neighborhood that you actually want to work. So you don't need to rank for the entire state of Texas because you don't service the entire state of Texas. Is this making sense? Let me know if something's coming up. How much posting should we do on personal page versus the business page? Well, I would keep our business page as active as possible to get as many people commenting as possible. Now, it does not always have to be about business. I highly encourage you not to be about business. So show a little bit of your personality there. On your business page, honestly, I'm a bit contrarian when it comes to business page. I don't care about my business page, to be honest with you. The reach is so small that even if I had whatever, name any amount of people that like my page, let's just say 10,000. Less than 1% at this point are going to see it. And that's unfortunate, but that's the case. The only reason I care about my Facebook business page, and we're talking about my business page, is because I get to run ads on it. I don't care about my business page from an organic side. So whenever you're talking to social media, so real estate agents, please hear me on this one. Whenever you're talking to social media managers and they're like, hey, we can post all this stuff for your Facebook business page, that's crap. Does not matter. Maybe you can prove me wrong, but does not matter. It's the engagement there is just bad. The conversion there is bad. Yes, you need to have it to be, to have a professional look. Every once in a while, I'll go in there and post something just to remember how to get there. But the ads is actually where it's at from the Facebook business page. So you don't need to have an active management there. All right. Dan, morning. All right. All right. So let's see what do we have here. Sorry, a little off subject. I keep hearing people say they partner with mortgage companies for ad spend. Can you discuss how that relationship may look and how they both can benefit from their shared transaction? You can't push a person to lender or any other suggest your preferred lender. Yeah, so a lot of folks do this. So from the brokerage side, you have them. It's very usual to see, very common for a brokerage to be in the same building as a title company. So that's a relationship that's heavily used. So there's that, hey, we're here, right? So there's that convenience aspect, similar to the mortgage relationship. So you have mortgage officers that want to form relationships with you real estate agents, and they're willing to put up $300, $500, $1,000 depending on the size of it to help you with your ad spend. So that is not uncommon. And it really does depend. They can't say for every deal that you bring me, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. They can't do that, but they can pay you a marketing stipend, if you will, or provide value to your business in that regard, and they work the leads. But as far as them being regulated, they're a little bit more regulated than you and I. So real estate agents, you may think that you're regulated, but you're not. You're really not. I was having this conversation with another executive around a particular brokerage that I believe that real estate agents are underregulated. I know that's an uncommon opinion for real estate agents out there, but I think that we're heavily underregulated, and it allows a lot of people and a lot of funny business to happen. But I'm going on a tangent here. So with that relationship, it just depends on how much they think, or how much they believe you're going to bring them business. Again, you can't steer them, but you can give them a preferred lender, and that's basically what they're paying for. So my preferred lender is X, or my preferred lenders are X, Y, and Z, and then you give your advice. So that's how that ends up happening. Renzo, quick shout out. Renzo, thank you so much. So the reason that you see the set look semi-presentable to where I may look like I know what I'm doing is because of Renzo. So Renzo Gavino is a fantastic realtor, but also a fantastic person with the lighting and everything. So huge shout out to Renzo. And I forgot the question. As a realtor, do you suggest to post more on personal page or versus our business page? Since the conversation is minimal on our business page, personal page 100%, 10 to 1. So 10 posts on your personal page to 1 on your business page. Every once in a while, so from the business page, what I suggest is posting your successes. So whenever you sold that house, whenever you got that testimonial, whenever you got the home under contract, you pull that in, share that into your personal page. So that's the best practice on that. You're posting your personal life, whatever's going on, your successes, your wins, your whatever, your failures too, if you'd like. But then over here on your business page, whenever you put something on a contract, whenever you sell something, whenever you get a testimonial, you put it on your business page, and then you share it within your personal page. That's the protocol that I suggest. All right, so Mark Zuckerberg to business pages, you got to pay to play. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Cool. So I think we got a little bit off tangent. We got a little bit out there, but the one thing that I want to give you when it comes to blogs, and then we'll move on, select 3 keyword phrases, and just 3, and work on those for the remainder of the year. I know it sounds like, well, Jaime, that's just 3. That's the point. You're being very intentional with what you're doing. So just select 3 phrases that you want, whether you want to dominate top real estate agent in Fort Worth, Texas. That's one right there. Or the how to sell my house fast, whatever it happens to be, whatever niche you happen to want to break into. Focus on those 3 keyword phrases, and only those 3 keyword phrases for the remainder of the year in blogs. Drop a blog once every week or once every month. But stay consistent. That's all I want you to focus on, because what you're going to find is you're going to start dominating those 3 keyword phrases, but also you're going to also gain some equity around what you're writing. I'm not saying write the same thing. I'm saying focus on those 3 keyword phrases and revolve around them. Make them a little bit different. Share something a different twist to what's common out there. So that's my suggestion to you. With blogs, do you want to post on WordPress or something like that, or can you use the blog section of your IDX? Dan, that's a fantastic question. So, Dan, that is something I had in my strategy session just yesterday with another agent within my EXP group. So Ryan and I were talking about this very same question, and although I absolutely love our platform, which is KV Core, which has our website, I don't believe that is the future of your business when it comes to blogs. So he and I were talking about it, and he ultimately decided to go with the WordPress website. So to answer your question, the WordPress website is your route to go if you're trying to rank and index SEO wise in a meaningful way. So to answer your question, I highly suggest that you use WordPress above any IDX website, above even Squarespace or Wix, which are kind of like plug and play type of websites that are meant to be more static. WordPress is still the king of the online world, if you will, because that's where most websites are hosted, but also it's the best way for you to rank whenever it comes to your blog. So it's a great investment in your business. What about going live to answer questions? Do you think that's a good strategy to acquire awareness versus ads? I do, Renzo. So if you can make it a coffee morning with Renzo, that would be a hit. But just the key here is to be consistent, because people want to know that you're going to be there. So I sometimes fall into this trap myself where I'm actually a little bit late to our live stream, so my apologies. But as you start sharing more and more, people are going to start realizing that, hey, Mondays at 10 a.m., that's when Renzo comes on. And the first couple of goes, to be honest with you, are going to be a little bit of a miss. Unless you have a huge following, which I pray that you do. But if you don't, it's going to take a little bit of just pain, if you will, to get started. Because you're not going to have as many people that are aware that you're going live. The notifications are going to go to some people, but not to others. So make sure that you stay consistent and address those questions. So a good friend of the channel and a good friend of mine, he's in the mortgage space. He actually goes live on YouTube and answers questions about loans. And he happens to be a mortgage lender. So he's something that he provides information about mortgages. And he has 100, 200, 300, I've seen up to 400 people live on his channel as he starts talking about loans. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty. So going on to the next one, you already know it's coming. It's YouTube. You already know it's coming because I've been beating this drum for years. I've been sharing and telling you, encouraging you to get on YouTube and get on YouTube quickly, because YouTube is still wide open. It's the gold rush that you absolutely want to stake your claim in. YouTube, regardless of where you're at right now, if you typed in top real estate agent in X, Y, and Z, Orlando, New York, Florida, whatever the case may be, well, I shouldn't have said Florida, any city, you're going to find that it's wide open. Sure, there may be an agent that has made a video about Orlando. Sure, there may be an agent that made a video about Dallas, but you're not going to find a consistent theme of somebody absolutely dominating their market. You're just not. So you have the opportunity of being found by millions and millions and millions of people every single day. So take advantage of that. YouTube is still wide open. So the same knocks that you get from blogs right now, that it's oversaturated, so competitive, all that other stuff, is absolutely non-existent in YouTube. Now, here's the thing. Whenever somebody finds out about a really good thing, which some agents are starting to find out about it, whenever somebody finds something out about a really good thing, which is YouTube, in 3 years from now, then it's going to be the same complaints that you're getting from blogs. Again, it's oversaturated. So many people are doing it. Right now, you're still early. So if you're watching this today, which happens to, I don't know what day it is, but if you're watching this today and you're thinking it's too late, it's not. So it's time to get started. That's a huge thing that you need to be aware of, that YouTube is still underutilized by real estate agents, for one. But something you absolutely want to realize is you need to make content with being super hyper focused or aware about the client's purchase decision. So you need to think about the client. You need to think like a client. What would a person that is looking to buy, what would they search for? What would be valuable to them? Do they want to know about loans? Well, yeah, they will. Do they want to know about neighborhoods? Of course they do. Do they want to know how much home they can afford? Yes. So these are a lot of the questions that you need to start thinking about a client. So as a client, so you can start making those videos and you can start ranking. So think like a client, but also think like how close they are to their purchase decision. So the further back, the more vague their questions are, well, they're a little bit further out. So your chances of them taking a immediate action the moment that they watch their video is slim. But as they get closer, as the best real estate agent in Burleson, Texas, as an example. Well, once they come here, they are looking for a real estate agent at this point. So they're a little bit closer to that decision point. So this is going to be a little bit more competitive. This is going to cost a little bit more if you're running ads on it. But this is telling you that if I can rank for this particular keyword as an example, hint, hint, you might want to look for this one, then I'm going to be working with the client very soon. So with these types of keyword phrases, so the video that you make here is going to be vastly different than the video that you make over here when they're asking general vague questions. The video type of video that you're making here right before they make their decision on a real estate agent, you need to start putting in their testimonials. You need to put in why other people have trusted you and why you're the right choice for them to reach out to you. So that's super important. Just be aware of that purchase decision where people are in that timeline. So that's one. That's a lot of things that a lot of real estate agents miss that. So make sure that you don't fall into that trap. But the second trap that agents fall into is the call to action is off, meaning they don't have one. Meaning I fell into this myself. You can see it real time by going to Jaime Resendiz Realtor. That's my other channel that I haven't posted on for a while. I'm putting in a few testers there through my VAs, but Jaime Resendiz Realtor channel, that one has maybe 500 subscribers. Nothing really, but it has those subscribers over there. I haven't posted in any meaningful way in years. And what you're going to see with those videos, even though they have 30,000 views, 40,000 views, you're going to see that I put zero call to action. Zero. So although I still get a few leads here and there weekly right about, it's not meaningful. If I would have put a call to action, people would be downloading my calculator. People would be downloading my cheat sheet. People would be downloading my X, Y, and Z. People would be taking action and reaching out to me, regardless if they were asking vague questions over here or if they were ready to work with the top real estate agent, which is where most people want to be. So with this call to action, the call to action is not, hey, use me for your next real estate transaction. That's not the call to action. I don't know what that is. That's not a call to action. So the call to action is, hey, now that you know how to enhance the value of your real estate property, you might be interested in how much you take home after you factor in the title costs, after you title in factor in the taxes, factor in real estate commissions. So link down below is my net sheet. All you have to do is plug in these numbers and you're going to get the exact amount to the penny. So what you're offering there is something valuable. You're having a call to action. Hey, go down there and download my net sheet. And people, regardless if they are ready to if they're ready to work with the top real estate agent or asking vague questions, they're going to download that. So you're going to get leads all through the timeline. So from the moment that they start thinking about real estate to the moment that they actually close with you at the title company. Is this making sense? I feel like sometimes I miss the key points, so I just want to make sure that you're on the same page as I am. And now would be a great time to hit that like button if this is making sense. So yeah, that's a call to action that you absolutely want to make with your videos. Now, the beauty about that type of call to action is that it's universal, it's evergreen. So you can make that offer with any video that you make. You can start talking about staging. Well, what does staging cost? You put a general estimate on what the staging cost is. At the end of the video, you invite people to check out your net sheet and then let them know that staging can cost X, Y, and Z for 3 months. And they put that in and they get something valuable. right? So that's how you start bringing in some leads. And also from the buyer side, people want to know how much they can afford. So you can put a little calculator. And folks, you don't even have to create these. This is how wild it is. You don't even have to create these. They are out there. They are out there online. You're just providing the information, educational value, and providing that little widget if you decide to embed it and code it into your website, which is very simple to do. There's videos on YouTube to do that. You can embed it on your website, and you are able to focus all of their attention to your website so you can retarget them. Oh, and what happens? Your website starts ranking. It starts indexing. So people start watching your blog. People reading your blog. People start watching more of your videos. See how everything works together? I mean, I think that this is absolutely so cool. This is something that I wish I could implement a lot of these things in everybody's business, but I can't. So it's something that is incumbent upon you. If you're interested in learning how all of this works, then one of those ways to do that is, and I actually saw several agents that have already taken advantage of that, is partnering with me at EXP, where I actually share all of my resources, whether that's my blogger, whether that's my VA, whether that's my editor, everything. I share that with you if you're part of my team. So that's something to consider. So if you check out the link down below, aka a call to action, you're going to find more information about that. So that's it. If you're interested in a new opportunity with the brokerage, then I highly encourage you to check that out. If not, does not matter to me. You can continue watching the free content that I'm putting out, because a lot of the things that you're seeing here are obviously being implemented by the agents that I work with, but also a lot of these things right now, you don't even need more hand-holding. You just need to go out there and act. So this whole ecosystem that's being created online and everything here, maybe with the exception of the open houses, is working together. I'm sure I could find a way to integrate open houses, but again, I just wanted to throw that strategy out there for those folks that continue to chirp at me about, hey, cold calling, it still works. Obviously it does. Not to the level that they think, but I want to help everybody, right? So that's why I did the open houses. But with the Facebook groups, the Facebook posts, the blogs, the YouTube, everything is working in unison. So you can continue building your brand and growing your business. So the moment that January 1st hits of this year, you were way farther ahead than where you were January 1st of the previous year. So that's the part of it. That's the part of it that most people fail to understand, that every single year you're building upon your successes as opposed to starting over from scratch. Because if you're starting over from scratch, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then you're going to be out of business very soon. All right, so that's it. What's your opinion on adding WhatsApp feature to your business page? WhatsApp, I am just not the big user of WhatsApp, so I'm biased. I do use it. I do use it for mostly international friends. So my friends in Mexico, my friends in India, friends in the Philippines, so friends in really outside of the United States, or folks that are immigrants here in the United States that are accustomed to using WhatsApp. I'll get on there. So I don't have the most favorable opinion to WhatsApp unless you're doing an international type business. So if you're in those international markets like the Miamis of the world, the Houstons of the world, the Atlantas of the world, if you're in those communities, you're going to find a lot of WhatsApp users that prefer to communicate that way. But I personally wouldn't do it because that's not necessarily my market, and I understand that I'm missing a huge market from my own people. I'm actually from Mexico, but I don't work primarily with the Hispanic community. Not because I don't want to, but because the opportunities just haven't actively pursued them that way. So a long way of saying is WhatsApp makes sense if you're working with a lot of the communities that are using WhatsApp religiously, which again, typically it's international communities. So it would make sense there. But if you're doing that for the folks down the street that have not traveled ever, it's not gonna make a meaningful movement in your business. Alrighty. So hey folks, this was fun, right? This was fun. I appreciate you you hanging out. A huge thank you and a quick little plug in. If you're not following me on Instagram, this is a platform that I'm focused on this year as well. So this is going back to that ecosystem, right? I would love to have you here. I would love to continue the conversation on Instagram daily. I would love to continue the conversation in the Facebook group, which is linked down below. It's called the Online Real Estate. I don't even know what it's called, but because I changed it. Anyway, it's linked down below. So make sure that you're joining the community, joining the conversation. I really appreciate you spending this morning with me. So if you're interested in the future of partaking in the conversation, Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Central is when we go live. A huge like is going to go a long way, and I'll see you on Friday.